Why play Camille top? Well, she has ridiculous mobility. She's a strong split pusher, she's great at killing both squishies and tanks, and she has a really great early and late game. However, she is slightly weaker during the mid game, and if she does fall behind, she's quite underwhelming. For Camille's passive, when she attacks a champion, she gets a physical or magical shield, depending on what damage your opponent does. Camille's Q is an auto attack reset which can be cast twice. The first Q deals additional damage and speeds Camille up. You can then cast it immediately again for the same effect. However, if you wait 1.5 seconds before using it again, it deals even more damage with some true damage. Camille's W is a cone skill shot. Enemies hit in the outer portion are slowed and damaged, and Camille restores some health. If they're hit with the inner portion, they take a small amount of damage. Camille's E is her attack on Titan jump. She fires a skill shot which has to hit terrain, and then she pulls herself to the terrain. After this, her E can be recast where she dashes from the wall. If this is recast towards an enemy, the range is doubled, and if the second dash hits an enemy, they are damaged and stunned. Also, with the second part of the dash, even if you can't see the champion over a wall, you'll still get this indicator showing that you've got a longer jump there, so you know a champion's there. Camille's R is a targeted ability which makes her jump onto an opponent, pushing all other opponents away. This locks that opponent in an arena and they cannot escape in any way. In addition, her attacks against the trapped champion deal additional damage. For Masteries, this is her standard page. However, consider this if you want to play more aggressive. For build order, start Blade and Pot before getting a Divine Sunderer, Tier 2 boots, and Rav Hydra. Following this, these are great items depending on what you need. Also, instead of Divine Sunderer, you can get Triforce, and instead of Rav Hydra, you can get Titanic Hydra. For skill order, start W, then E, then Q, before maxing Q, then E, then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoners, take Ignite and Teleport, or you can stick to the more traditional Flash and Teleport. During the laning phase, Camille is looking to farm while taking effective trades. In the early game, her passive shield is on a 20-second cooldown, and you want to look to trade whenever this is up. One of the easiest trades available to you is to use your first Q on a minion, and then auto into a Q, and then W on your way out on a champion. This is a chunk of damage, and with your passive up, you're unlikely to take much in return, and this is available to you every 20 seconds for basically free. And it leaves your hookshot up should you need it to escape. Otherwise, if you're going for an all-in, hookshot in before auto Q into auto Q, and then W on your way out. Once again, this is a massive chunk of damage, but will leave you vulnerable without your hookshot. Otherwise, simply feel free every time your opponent goes to farm to just cheekily auto Q them. It's super annoying to play against. Entering the mid game, you'll need to make the decision of grouping for fights or split pushing. Your default should be to split push. With teleport available, if Dragon's up, push top, and if Baron's up, push bot. This will give your team a lot of cross-map pressure. This means if your opponents deal with you, your team gets free objectives, and if they don't, you get towers and teleport into the fight anyway. And as a side note, between your 2 Qs and Divine Sunderer, you absolutely melt towers. Entering the late game, you're almost looking to play like a bruiser assassin. It can be tempting to be your team's engage, however you'll often just get blown up. So it's usually better to let your team engage or be engaged on while looking for a flank onto their backline. A hook shot into your ultimate on their carry, firstly, is a large amount of disruption to a grouped team, and secondly, their carry cannot escape from you in any way, and with Camille's insane damage, killing them is no problem. With their main carry down, you still do great damage against tanks, so just keep focusing down the next target after next target.